Amazon recently announced that it was going to be purchasing MGM Studios, and this is kind of a big deal for the film industry, so let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
So, like I said, this is an interesting topic, at least to me. I find it fascinating how all this is going to work out, because it's going to have, I'm pretty sure it's going to have massive effects going into the future of the industry. But I'll get into all that in a second. Just let me give you a quick reminder before we get into it. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World, streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. I'm trying to do live streams this time. So far, I think I should be good. But Tuesdays, Thursdays, at 2 p.m. You can find me again at Super Dario World on YouTube and on Twitch if you want to join me, be a part of the chat. Tomorrow, I'm planning on doing it, doing something a little bit longer. If not, then Thursday. I'm, just giving you a chance to hang out if you want to join. I already have it planned out, so hopefully it'll work out. Hopefully life does not get in the way and things don't pop up. But anyway, let's get into this because it's actually a pretty interesting story. So I've been talking about this for a while now, and just to let you know, Amazon, it's the internet retailer, kind of maybe the biggest corporation in the world, the biggest company in the world, recently purchased the film studio MGM Studios. For those of you who don't know what MGM Studios is, it's Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer is one of the oldest, most reputable studios in the country, film studios, and probably the biggest franchise that they own right now is the James Bond franchise, and I'll get into that in a minute. But you would probably recognize them for the logo of the lion. You know, it's got the big roaring lion, like rah, rah, which the legend says that that lion killed its trainer the day after they recorded that, but I can't confirm or deny that, but that's what I've heard. Anyway, so MGM has been officially purchased by Amazon Studios. So I guess I'll just get that story out of the way first, and then I'll get into what this means and what I've been talking about for a while. So, according to The Verge, Amazon has reached the deal to acquire the film and TV company MGM for $8.45 billion. The company's announced earlier last week. It is a significant acquisition for the e-commerce giant, and it means it will now own a library of content that's reported to consist of around 4,000 films and 17,000 hours of TV. So, what does this mean for the future? Like I said, it's important to mention, like I said, MGM owns James Bond, but it doesn't own 100% of James Bond. It owns like 50%. And something similar works with other studios, and I'll get into that in a minute. But actually, other big titles there, and there's something that I really want to talk about because I actually watched this weekend. Another title that they own is The Hobbit. So as you guys know, Amazon is currently working on the live-action Lord of the Rings, but now they also own The Hobbit as well, officially. And I gotta tell you, after rewatching the movie, I think I realized what the problem is with it. Because why was The Hobbit not as good as Lord of the Rings? Yes, it's unnecessarily long. Yes, they added a bunch of things you didn't need there, but I think a big issue is that they had too much money. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's like sometimes the big budget might have hurt it because they did a bunch of stuff that's unnecessary just because they could. Like, it looks fancy or they thought it was going to be funny, and honestly, it ended up being to its detriment. And I've seen a couple of movies like that recently. Like, I was watching Highlander with my kid brother the other day, and we realized, wow, this movie had too much money for its own good. They had too much budget for their own good, because honestly, less is more sometimes. And that's the beauty of the Lord of the Rings. They didn't do it with the ginormous budget you would expect. It's not an Avatar level budget. And it was made with love, and they had to be clever with things, and they had to do a lot of stuff that they did not rely on CGI for a lot of stuff. They had to be clever with camera angles and stuff like that. So I think that was the big issue there for that movie. Also, the rewatching it, because I watched the extended edition, the Tariel Killy love thing, it was just pointless. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about that guy. And the issue with Killy is that he's going up against Legolas, a character that everybody already loves. So you got an established character that's loved, and he's being cockblocked by Killy, who's a dwarf that nobody really cares about at all. We just met him, and we don't give a fuck about him. So it I think that also really affected it. Instead of being a story that it could have actually been fun to see the story of, I don't know, young Legolas in love, or with this forbidden romance because he's a prince and she's a lowly Sylvan elf. That's what she called herself. And so it's like forbidden love, but he's willing to do it. But she wants to help the dwarves, and because of her helping the dwarves, she ends up dying. And so that's why Legolas doesn't like dwarves at the beginning of the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know. They could have done something with it, but it ended up being something else where you're like, dude, why the fuck are you screwing over Legolas, dude? We don't really like you, you weird ass dwarf. Also, you met for 5 fucking minutes. They met for 5 minutes. They had one conversation, and all of a sudden they're like fucking in love. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'd expect it, I don't know, from a couple of teenagers in a Shakespeare, not in a Shakespeare play, but I'm pretty sure that Tauriel is a few thousand years old, or at least a few hundred. So I don't know. It's ridiculous. The point is, it upset me. It's ridiculous, and that's probably what didn't work. But I that's just my tangent. I want to get that out of the way. Let's go back to Amazon and MGM and all that stuff. So Amazon purchases MGM. It now expands their library, and Amazon's kind of been. I've said this. When it comes to the streaming wars, I think Amazon is the most likely to be the winner and I think Netflix is probably going to be on the way out slowly, and Amazon's going to be taken over because Amazon does not need to make its money with the streaming service. In fact, they don't. Amazon makes its money selling everything else on the back end. So while Netflix makes money only on the subscribers and probably merchandise and stuff like that, Amazon makes it on selling toilet paper online. They make it on selling, I don't know, computers online, on selling a mouse online. And so they have that advantage. They have the money advantage. And so what Amazon did, it's an interesting strategy. First off, they decided to make high quality, expensive stories that won a bunch of awards. And they've actually made really good shows. The one that Jack Ryan was very popular, was really well made. Now they purchased The Expanse, which is widely considered to be the best sci-fi show of all time. I haven't seen it yet, but a lot of people say you got to watch it. It's the best sci-fi show of all time. I think they took that from Netflix. It was originally on another network, and they took that from them. They made what's it called, The Handmaid's Tale. Now they're going into animated shows. They're also doing anime. So they're slowly they wanted to first off put out award winners. Maybe they won't make money, but they'll get awards from it. The Boys is also there. So they were trying to get awards. So, set up a reputation and spend whatever amount of money they wanted. Now, they've bought a studio. And now they have the name behind them. Now they have the MGM brand behind them. And brands are worth something. And so they're starting to get more and more respectable. They're starting to slowly, not slowly, it's an aggressive expansion. They're getting in there, and they're going to slowly start muscling other people out. And because it's just going to be more bang for your buck. If you can get all these properties in one place, why are you going to be paying for Netflix and Amazon if Amazon's got the better stuff? It's got all it's got all the James Bond stuff in there. It's got all the Hobbit movies, Lord of the Rings. It's got The Boys. It's got all this stuff. If I have to pick between one of the, and if my Amazon Prime subscription, I don't feel like I'm even paying for all this stuff because I'm actually using that. I'm paying to not pay for shipping. So it's a very great deal for the consumer. Maybe not so much for the industry as a whole. We'll see how it goes, because there's going to be consequences to this. And like I said, I think in the crazy corner of my mind, the part of my mind where I'm trying to see far off into the future, I could maybe see Amazon buying up AMC theaters, because they've lost a buttload of money during the pandemic. And after purchasing AMC theaters, now it's going to become like an Amazon hub. Like, you can actually drop off shipments there or pick them up, because there's drop spots for that. And you could maybe go to the theater, and if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can see the new movies in there in the big theater. They'll probably charge a little bit more. I don't know. Might be crazy, but I could see it happening. All right. I could see it. And if they dominate the market, then I can definitely see it. It's about dominating the market. Is it a good thing? Probably not, because monopolies are not really a good thing for consumers in the long run, because they'll just charge you whatever they want. Fortunately, the film industry is so big and it's so vast, and there's such a demand for it, and also the TV industry, that I don't think they could actually do it here. But it's growing. It's, like I said, it's an aggressive expansion, and we'll see how it goes. There's some people who are for it. There's some people who are not. Like, for example, if you got a stagnant franchise, maybe it's good to get a little bit of investment there, revitalize it. I don't know. But there's also concerns. Like, I know a lot of people are concerned by a lot of things that have come out of the Lord of the Rings stuff. Like, oh no, it's too woke or whatever. Honestly, I haven't really followed it because I'm gonna watch the show anyway, and afterwards I'm just gonna judge the show if it's good or not. I don't, or if it makes sense according to the lore of that world. I'll see. I'll wait for it. If I'm watching it, I'm like, this is bullshit, then I'll just watch it and be like, this is bullshit. But we'll see. Either way, like I said, I don't have Amazon Prime, so I'm probably just gonna watch it, and I'll make up my mind afterwards. Anyway, I guess that's not the point. But there's concern from the artist standpoint, and I actually found an article from one of the writers of James Bond that's concerned about this. So let's talk a little bit about James Bond and what does this mean? Because the first thing I thought, honestly, the first thing I thought of when I heard MGM MGM was bought by Amazon, I was like, does this mean that the new James Bond movie is going to be coming out on Amazon Prime? Will it come out at the same time? Is it still going to come out in movie theaters? When is this deal finalized? And so the answer to that is, I don't know. By the way, 8.4 billion is a buttload of money. A buttload of money for all that stuff. I think they overpaid, but you know what? Fuck it. Like, they can afford it, and MGM is gonna be like, this is fucking great. 8 points. Honestly, good for them. I would have sold too. But what was I even talking about? Oh yeah, and James Bond. So I haven't found anything anywhere that says that it's going to be coming out simultaneously on Prime and in movie theaters. Who knows if that's going to change? But I did find an article about a former writer of the James Bond franchise that is a bit concerned, and he breaks down why he's concerned. So this is from Skyfall Inspector co-writer John Logan, and he immediately said, like, I'm not into this, and this is why. So it's quite a few quotes. So I'm gonna go through this quickly. Having worked as a writer on Skyfall and Spectre, I know that Bond isn't just another franchise, not a Marvel or a DC. It is a family business that has been carefully nurtured and shepherded through the changing times by the Broccoli Wilson family. Work sessions on Skyfall and Spectre were hearty discussions around the dinner table with Barbara Broccoli and her half-brother Michael Wilson, letting all the unruly children talk. Every crazy aunt or eccentric uncle was given a voice. We discussed and debated and came to a resolution, as families must, with no outside voices in the room. When you work on Bond movies, you're not just an employee, you're part of that family. So, this is both good and bad. I mean, it's good to have a property and protect it, especially an intellectual property. It's very good to have it and protect it, and make sure it's still that to its core. But it's also a bad thing if it becomes stagnant. Now, personally, I don't think that the James Bond franchise has become stagnant. It was stagnant for a while until it was revitalized, and then the Daniel Craig movies just completely changed it. It did adapt with the times. It became not the goofy 90s cartoony action movies. It became like a legit spy movie, like an actual spy thriller in many ways. So it did revitalize. It's still fresh. So what they're doing has worked so far, I think. Except the last one wasn't as great, but Skyfall was fantastic. To me, it's been the best James Bond movie yet. So mostly they've been doing all right. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt creatively. And like I said, they love their intellectual property so much that I'd give them the benefit of the doubt so far. So so far, according to him, even though their production company still owns 50%, that gives them that gives him creative control. He's worried about Amazon's obsession with the customer experience. And I don't know what you're thinking. What's so bad about, worrying about the customer? I'm a customer. I care about me. So why is it a bad thing? Well, he kind of explains it, and so let's just continue with his little quotes here. Quote, what happens if a bruising corporation like Amazon begins to demand a voice in the process? What happens to the camaraderie and the quality control if there's an Amazonian overlord with analytics parsing every decision? What happens when a focus group reports that they don't like James Bond drinking martinis or killing quite so many people, and that English accent's a bit alienating, so could we have more Americans in the story for marketability? In the context of a larger company, Amazon Prime Video is not chiefly about artists. It's about attracting and retaining customers. And when bigger companies start having say in iconic characters or franchises, the companies tend to want more, not better, and the quality differential can vary wildly project to project. Now that is a legit concern, and I completely understand it, because sometimes when a property gets bought by another company, it goes to shit. Case in point would be Star Wars with the new sequel movies. They were shit. They put out a bunch of content which was shit. Now they've kind of turned around, and I think they realized, kind of, let's get the people what they want, in a way, not just what our focus group says. So I think the most important thing when you buy an iconic franchise is you need to keep your core there, and you need to figure out what is it that your core fan audience loves about this particular intellectual property, and let's give them that. Then we can expand. Then we can try things. Then we can get a little bit wilder with it. But you need to keep the heart of it. You need to keep it the same. You need to understand, what is it about James Bond that made people love this particular franchise, this particular character? What is it about Star Wars that made people love Star Wars? Why are they there? What is it that made them feel special? What is it that made this franchise special? And once we get them, then we can expand a little bit more. Maybe you create new characters. Maybe you expand the world a little. Maybe you take a few risks. I get it, but you need to keep the core stuff there. So as long as they have a creative team that seems to understand that, they should be fine. And I think Amazon's done mostly okay when it comes to creative work. Like I said, with The Boys, they've done okay. With Invincible, they did okay. With Jack Ryan, it seems to be going fine. I haven't really seen it. With The Handmaid's Tale, I think things are going fine. The Expanse, to me, it's like the best example, because I haven't really heard anybody complain like, oh, once Amazon got them, it sucks. I think they understand that. Yes, they're customer focused, but I think part of understanding the customer is getting an artist that understands the product, and understanding why the customer loves the product. So it's a weird thing, and it's about hiring the right person for the right job. Now I don't know who they're going to hire here, and honestly, it's a legit concern, because we've seen big franchises go to shit. We know what happens with most sequels. Most sequels suck. It's really rare for a sequel to be good or as good as the original, because sequels suck, and it's sometimes just a money grab, and there's really no creativity. They don't add anything new. You're just like, why am I here? Why am I watching this movie, that a sequel that should have come out, I don't know, 20 years ago? Why am I here? You're not adding anything new. So it could work out. I mean, right now they have creative control, which is honestly the most important thing. So as long as they maintain the creative control, Amazon can say whatever the fuck they want. I own most of it. So at the end of the day, the Broccoli sister and the Broccoli and Wilson sister, brother, whatever, they control the product. So I think James Bond should be fine. Overall, what does this mean for the rest of the franchise? I think they're going to try to make something out of all the other titles. They're going to try to make remakes. They're going to try to revitalize some of the old franchise, which could be good. Probably not. Why don't we just do more new stuff? Honestly, like, why not? What's so wrong with creating something new? It usually works out, especially if you can, push it on Amazon. You make it like your banner stuff. It could work out. Now, Amazon, like I said, it's taken risk with lesser known titles, and it's worked out, or they've created new stuff. So I don't know. Overall, like I said, my big concern about this particular purchase is, what does it mean for the industry in the future? And by the way, James Bond, supposedly it's coming out on October 8th, 2021. It'll be the last time Daniel Craig will be playing the character of James Bond. Supposedly, he's the longest running James Bond so far. He's been in the most movies, and supposedly this is going to be the longest James Bond movie yet. So I'm not 100% happy with what I've seen, but I'll give it a shot afterwards. Maybe the trailer just wasn't that great, but we'll see. Anyway, the point is, Amazon is slowly and surely taking over. It's an aggressive expansion. It's taking over new properties. Are they going to stop here? Probably not. You don't invest 8.4 million whatever on something and then just decide, you know what, I'm just going to keep it there. No, you're going to do something with it, and you're going to probably expand on it. I mean, they're investing what, $1 billion in Lord of the Rings. I'm pretty sure they're not going to stop there. They're in this for the long run, and they have the money for it. So we'll see where this goes. But I don't think it's going to be entirely crazy if my weird bizarro vision for the future comes true. I can see it. I can see it happening. And maybe you don't go into the movies for free, but maybe it's like, you pay a discounted price because you're an Amazon customer, and you can pick up your packages here, or you can drop off returns and stuff. I could see it happening, is my point. All right. So that's it. That's it for today. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World, streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. I'm a little bit torn because, like I said, live stream Tuesdays, Thursdays at 2 p.m. ish. I'm aiming for it to be a little bit better. I'm a little bit torn. Loki comes out this week, and so I'm going to watch it on Wednesday, probably if I have time. I don't know when I'm going to review it. I can't do it Thursday. That's not going to be... Maybe I do want to do it Thursday if it's live. I don't know. I'll think about it. It might be like my new Friday thing, or maybe I just keep it as a Monday thing. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Yeah, let me know what you think. When would you like to hear my first Loki review? Because I think it's always going to be coming out on Wednesday, but let me know what you think. What day works best. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.